And so if I don't use them right away, I will just store them in a Ziploc freezer bag in the freezer until I get a chance to process them into syrup, or possibly I'm going to make some wine or mead this year. And the first step in making mead is to sanitize all of your equipment. I like to use this one step. It makes it quick and simple. You just dissolve the required amount in some water and then soak everything for about 15 or 20 minutes. And the nice thing about one step is that you don't have to rinse. And the primary ingredient in mead is honey. This is honey I've harvested from my bees last summer, and typically mix it in a ratio of about 3 pounds of honey to each gallon of water. And I just use 2 gallons for this batch. Just make sure that the honey is all dissolved before adding the berries. Now the berries have been in the freezer, so their cell walls are pretty much broken down, but I like to give them just a bit of a mash with a potato masher to release as much of the juices as I can. Now, elderberries are actually a bit toxic when they're raw. The elderberry, along with other plants, contain what are known as cyanogenic glycoside. But processes such as grinding and peeling, boiling, fermentation, they can actually break down those compounds. And believe it or not, elderberries are actually pretty bland. I like to add a little bit of lime zest and juice, one of my favorite flavors to sort of liven things up. Raw honey contains plenty of wild yeasts, and so it will ferment naturally on its own. But I use boiling hot water to kill off those yeasts, and then I like to add my own. This D47 strain has been formulated for champagne. It produces a pretty high alcohol content. And one important thing I've learned when fermenting fruit is to put it in a fine mesh bag. This makes straining, filtering, and cleanup much easier later on. And so I use a fermentation airlock. It keeps the fermentation vessel more sterile. It prevents unwanted fungi or bacteria from contaminating the batch. Airlocks create an anaerobic atmosphere, or one without oxygen. Yeast converts sugars into high energy molecules, and it produces the byproducts of alcohol and carbon dioxide. And I'll fill this chamber with water, and so the airlock keeps air from entering while allowing that CO2 to escape. And yeast can ferment with or without oxygen, but an anaerobic environment kills most competing bacteria or any fungi that would use the sugars to make substances that we do not want. And so when the gas bubbles stop in the airlock, it's time for the next step in the process, which is racking. Now before I can do that, I need to remove the fruit. Here's the fine mesh bag I was talking about earlier, making things much easier. Now racking involves siphoning off the clear mead away from the lees, the dead yeast, and their waste products at the bottom of the jar or the bucket. And it's pretty easy to do with one of these automatic siphons. All you have to do is place the full container at a higher level than the empty one and get the siphoning going, and then just allow gravity to do the rest of the work. Now I like to do this in a 2-step process. First, I rack it into a larger container. These are 1-gallon jars. Now I like to do this in case any yeast gets transferred in the siphon. And I'll add an airlock during this time just to make sure there's no fermentation that's still taking place. And so you can see a different type here, but they all pretty much work the same, using a column of water to keep the oxygen out but still let CO2 escape. And you can find these fermenting jars online. They're already fitted with a gasket to which you can insert the airlock. And these are always fitted with some sort of a cap to keep the big critters like fruit flies out of your ferments. And if there's any fermentation still taking place, you'll see the column of water rise. Bubbles will be escaping. Otherwise, it'll be done settling within a week or so. And I'll just keep it over here with my other projects. I'm getting ready to bottle some black raspberry mead, so you can find that in the next video. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.